Jerry, so we're easy to remember. We get yelled at a lot, so. Okay. All right, so first thing I'm going to talk about is just hydration. It's hot outside, guys, so make sure you're drinking. It's the desert, everybody knows that. So we got water set up all around the fields, then the blue Powerade jugs. If you need anything medical-wise, we got 2 tents. They're black Powerade tents. If you need them, my staff's out there, they can help you out. So going back to hydration, though, you're supposed to be drinking about 8 to 12 ounces every 15 minutes if you're participating in sports, so that's about a small cup. So that's just a good rule of thumb. Make sure you're always staying hydrated. So if you do get dehydrated, that can, one, it can hurt your child. Medically, it's going to decrease performance. We don't want that, so that's bad. So as coaches and parents, just make sure your kids are finding some shade if they're overheated, they're staying hydrated. But hydration not only starts at practice, it's before that as well. So you got to do a really good job once they go home of putting all those fluids back in. A good rule of thumb is for every pound lost, you want to put in about 16 to 20 ounces. So that's about a small little Gatorade or Powerade bottle. So keep that in mind. Next thing I want to talk about is just being safe. Like Coach Patterson talked about fundamentals, that's a big thing for us. I think we see a drastic decrease in injuries because we really focus on teaching these kids how to tackle properly, how to break down, how to communicate. I think that really helps us out, makes my job a lot easier. So as parents and coaches, really preach the fundamentals at this age. Don't get worried about the next level stuff, just focus on the basics. And if you're really good at that, you'll make a really good player and they'll grow. The last thing I want to talk about is equipment. Make sure equipment fits really, really well. I think that's the one thing we do awesome here. We got a great equipment guy in Jerry Neely. If the helmet doesn't fit right or the shoulder pads don't fit right, we got an increased chance for getting hurt or causing some sort of bodily harm to your child or someone else. So with that, Jerry.
How's it going, guys? As I said, my name is Jerry Neely. I've been with Coach Graham since 2008. We take a lot of pride in making sure our athletes are fit well. And youth leagues, it's very important not just to throw a helmet on a kid or a pair of shoulder pads on one of your kids. We want to make sure that they're taken care of and that they're healthy as well. We take a lot of pride in making sure they're properly fit. We certifiably fit all of our athletes, helmets and shoulder pads. We make sure that it's perfect. I know it sounds silly, but it's the most important thing there is. Last year, we had lowest concussions in the conference. We take a lot of pride in that. We take a lot of pride in making sure things are very, very well done here. Just a few little tips and tricks you can look for when you're fitting your athletes. Make sure two fingers above your eyebrows is where you want the helmet to rest. You don't want a lot of front or backwards rotation or side to side. You want it to fit kind of snug. Comfortable, tight but comfortable is what we always tell our athletes when I'm fitting them. Put it on their heads, hey, is it tight but comfortable? Brand new helmet's gonna be a little stiff at first. Wanna make sure, listen, I know it's a little tight, but once you break it in, once you sweat, it's gonna loosen up a lot. When you're fitting a guy, going into Dick's Sporting Goods or wherever you're going, maybe wet their hair down a little bit, simulate sweat. That's also very important. You gotta put a helmet on and have them out there practicing. It's gonna be really, really tight, really, really uncomfortable, but it's not gonna give you a true fit for what you're doing out here in the desert. Running around, sweating, these helmets get really loose. Same thing with chin straps. Chin strap fitting is almost more important than anything. You want your chin strap to be buckled at all times and properly done. You don't want it to go over the face mask or anything like that. It goes under the face mask cage and then buckled. I know it sounds silly, but I had an athlete in 2008. He went up for a ball in 7-on-7, just helmets on, no big deal, it wasn't buckled. Came down the back of his neck, had a concussion, was out for the rest of the year. If he would have been buckled, he hopefully would have been okay. You don't know, but better safe than sorry. Shoulder pads, same thing. You want to make sure shoulder pads are fit well. You don't want them baggy and flopping around when they're running. You want to make sure that the shoulder blade is properly covered and the xiphoid process is properly covered. The same with the clavicle. You go to Sunvalco or any other place that is certified to fit, they will help fit your athlete. I know it sounds like it's not important, but it is. It's better than going just picking something up off the shelf because it looks cool. We're almost 100% Rydell here at the university. It's just a good product. The Flex helmet, the Speed helmet, they're good products. Just make sure you're doing your research. You can look up what helmets are good. You can Google it. It'll tell you if it's a 5-star helmet or a 4-star helmet and what's safe. Sorry to be a little brief, but if you guys need to talk about it anymore, come see me one-on-one. I'll be glad to talk to you guys. Okay?
Thank you.